One thing that I have noticed about my own life is that often when I finally said the thing, the hard thing, the uncomfortable thing, that is when I felt change, positive change. Often we think that by staying quiet, by keeping the peace, that is the right course of action. I'm not saying to scream. I'm not saying to be negative. But I want to encourage you to think about saying the thing, because keeping the peace usually doesn't keep the peace for everyone. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna. If you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are entering our 10th year of homeschooling, and I am a woman who is in her early to mid 40s, which is probably a lot of the motivation for sharing this video. Today, I want to talk with you about saying the thing, the importance of it, the value in it, and why more of us should do it more often. Before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Please, while you're down in the comments, I would love to hear a time, and I think this will be very motivating to all of us. Most of you are women, not all of you, but most of you are women, and this is going to relate to homeschool, relationships, and life. While you're down there in the comments, do me a favor. Please share with us a time when you said the thing that made the difference, or when you didn't, and how that impacted you. I think it would be really wonderful for all of us to share. I think a lot of us, especially as women, are trained to keep our mouths shut, to suffer in silence, to keep the peace, to not rock the boat. And I don't think that that is ever what actually happens. When there is an issue, when there is a problem, when there is a thing that needs to be said, it is important that we recognize the many facets in which silence does not benefit us. And yes, saying things can get really uncomfortable. And sometimes the loudest thing that we can do is say nothing. It is important that we learn, and it is important for me, especially as somebody who frequently references the fact that I am raising girls. I do not want to encourage my daughters or myself to suffer things in silence, because I do not believe that it benefits anyone. It doesn't benefit myself. It doesn't benefit the other person from me not being genuine and honest with them. And it does not benefit the world by shouldering a burden that isn't mine to shoulder alone. I am somebody who is very outspoken. In my life experiences, I have never been in a situation where I didn't think saying the thing was beneficial. Now, I am not telling you to fly off the handle. I'm not telling you to yell and scream. I'm telling you to communicate. Communicate clearly and effectively so that change can be had. And this is going to present itself in a lot of ways. In your relationships, maybe you have a family member who is overbearing and you need to sit them down and have a conversation with them. Maybe you're in an organization where the running of the organization is genuinely doing a disservice, and it's time to have that conversation. And maybe it's that you need to say it to yourself. Oftentimes in homeschool, I have seen situations where people get to a point that they suddenly realize that they've made no progress with their learner for an extended amount of time. But that's not true. There were red flags. There were moments along the way when, had they said it, had they identified it, had they put it into the world, it would have been a time to fork off and start a new path. It is so important to recognize that the cost of avoidance is great. And if you have an issue that you don't feel like you can speak about, you are carrying 100% of that burden, and almost never is that burden yours to carry. All of. There is no reason why we need to suffer alone and suffer in silence. So as somebody who does come here and speak to you and comes here and shares again to an audience primarily of women, even in my everyday life, the value of being able to say something and encourage someone else to say the thing is huge. And I wish more people did it. I wish more people would take an opportunity to have a well-intentioned, honest conversation that may be uncomfortable than to continue suffering alone in a situation that could be improved. If we as homeschoolers sit down and we pretend something is working that is not, if we pretend that the timeline is good when it is not, if we pretend that there is progress made that is not, we are not doing ourselves any kind of help or service, and we are literally doing a disservice to our learner. So you need to be able to be honest with yourself and say the thing if you feel like that is where it needs to happen, and you need to let go. The fear of judgment doesn't need to come into this, okay? Yes, it's going to be scary, and yes, it's going to be hard to be honest, but the sooner you do it, the better off everyone will be. Naming things creates movement. By being able to say, you did this to me and I didn't like it and I didn't care for that, you create movement. There is a path to change because you said the thing. When you stay quiet, all you're doing is allowing what is happening to continue in the manner that it is already going. If you want change, you must be willing to say the thing, to name it, to get a little uncomfortable. You cannot solve a problem you cannot name. And maybe that's on you with your homeschool, and maybe that is in a group dynamic where you need to have a stern conversation with somebody else. And it doesn't have to be mean, and it doesn't have to be harsh. If you can sit and think this through and speak honestly from your heart with the intention to improve, the intention to grow, the intention to better communicate and to come together. If you are not seeking out the intention to harm, then you are doing everyone a service, because I always work from the point of, if I don't say it, it is unfair of me to assume that they know, because they do not know. I know if I've said it, they at least have heard it. Now, whether or not they hear it, I cannot say. But if I have said it, I know it is in the world. I know it has been identified. I know it has been highlighted. I know it has been flagged, and you can't tell me later that you didn't know. At that point, it is willful, but I cannot. I owe everyone the service to not assume anyone knows anything, assume anyone operates from this place. It is hard to be someone who does feel, and I think it's actually my personality type, feels compelled to say things. It is my justice orientation. I need things to be right, and I enjoy making them so. It makes me very happy to know that I've used my skills, I've used my communication, I've used my ability to help people come to this new place where we can work together, where we all are on the same footings. Something I really struggle to see, and I have several friends in my life, and you know who you are. It is very hard for me to watch people be taken advantage of because they will not say the thing, because they will not stand up for themselves, because they will not see the benefit in making a temporary uncomfort for yourself or the other person, a temporary uncomfort for the long-term greater good. So we are in a place right now, as we're planning going into the next year for homeschool, as we are in a season of change, as the world is noisy. Please do yourself a service and say the thing. Don't scream it, don't shout it, don't name call it. But if you're working, especially with somebody you want to have a long-term relationship with somebody you want to see growth from, including your learner, yourself, your church member down the street, your neighbor, genuinely work from a place of growth and from a place of communication. So I'm going to call it saying the thing. I say the thing, it makes people uncomfortable, and sometimes people think I'm mean. I genuinely don't have the intent to be mean. I really do not have the intent to harm, but it is not something that people are used to. People are not used to having open and honest dialogue and conversations. People are used to staying quiet to keep the peace. Peace is not kept. Peace is not kept. There is a saying that a shared joy is double the joy, but a shared grief is half the grief. If you communicate what you're saying, you are not responsible for 100% of that burden. Saying nothing doesn't keep the peace. It costs you all of yours. I hope that you hear me, that you hear my intent, that we are working together in a world that is noisy and loud and aggressive and abrasive to come together and say the thing so that we can all work toward better outcomes in the end. And this, again, it resonates with your real life, your relationships, but it resonates with your homeschool. If something isn't working, you need to say it. If you keep trugging along, you're not keeping the peace. You are not peaceful. If something isn't going the way that you thought it would and you need a change, say the thing. Movement comes from putting it into the world, okay? Change comes from being able to name it, to get it out there and to say it. And healing comes from being able to have these fruitful communications with yourself or with others. Guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Like I said, please share with us. What is a time that you kept your mouth shut and you realized you shouldn't have, or a time when you put it out there and it genuinely made it better? Please do not be scared to say the thing. Please do so rationally and unemotionally and with your true intent to be a place to come together. I know that if we do this, if we share, it's going to motivate those people who are not inherently the ones to say the thing, to feel empowered to do that, because we all deserve to be in a place where we feel good, where we don't stay quiet just to keep the peace, despite the fact that that is suffocating one person in that situation. I hope that we can motivate each other, that we can share together, that we can all communicate better, openly, effectively. We can be honest with ourselves about our homeschool, about the situations in our homeschool, about our relationships, about our group dynamics, and that together we can make every day magic.